Hello everyone, welcome to the channel QA Automation Skills. Myself Nitin, and today we will discuss about page object model in Selenium. So let's get started. Before going to the page object model, this is how a framework should be structured. It should be divided into multiple packages for the specific functions. Like all the pages should be defined as in the pages pages package. All the tests should be defined in the runners class or the test case class. All the steps should be defined in the login steps. Utilities in the utilities, and the features can be divided into different modules having different feature files. So the step definition and pages should be separate from each other. And if we are looking at a test ng framework, the test classes should be separate from the page object classes. A a application can have different interactions. It can have a UI interaction through web applications, which will have different controls in it. Like suppose there is a simple application with login page, then it will have the username, password, and submit control. The dashboard page will have some other controls. So based on the different pages, we can create different page classes for different interaction. Like for login page, we can create one page class. For dashboard page, we can create another class that will have all the elements for that particular page in it. The test cases should interact with the public methods in the classes. Like in the login page class, there will be public method that will allow interaction with the elements of the login page, and the test scenario should not directly define the elements but should use those methods as defined in the page object classes. A test class should have the test logic in it. It should have the test assertion to validate the test behavior, and it should interact with the application through page classes that's defined through the page object model. If we look it from another perspective, a automation suite should have the test script that interacts with the application under test through page object class method and element, and there is no direct interaction with the page classes element in the test script, that is not defining the locators and the properties to identify the element at the test script level. All these things, uh, all the object definition related to the page should be done in the page object model classes, and based on different pages there should be different classes for different pages. Like for login page, one class, it will have all the elements of the login page and method to interact with the page elements. Similarly for dashboard, that's class page n, so it will have all the elements of the dashboard class and corresponding methods to interact with the test. So in the test class, we will call the public methods of to interact with the elements in the application. Page object model is a design pattern used in Selenium automation testing to enhance test maintenance and reduce code duplication. We can implement page object model in the following way. We can create a base page class that will initialize the page factory and will also define common strategies and interaction that can be used across by different page classes. In the page class will extend the base page class and will have all the elements that are identified with the page defined in it, and then there will be public method to interact with the test classes. When we talk about POM design component, the page objects are classes that encapsulate the behavior and the structure of a web page. Each page in the application under test has its own corresponding page object classes. Page object interact with the page elements like button, input, and provide method to perform actions on these elements. A page element has identifier of elements in the page. It will have method to work with the identified element in the page. When we talk about page factory, it simplifies the POM implementation. It uses the at the rate find by annotation to locate web elements. It automatically initialize element using page factory.init element. When we use page factory, it is also called as lazy initialization because it only loads the element which we are working on. The base page class, this class will serve as a foundation class that other page object inherit from. Example of common functionality that can be used across multiple pages object and that can be defined in the base page class includes the WebDriver initialization, the common page actions like suppose there are multiple input controls and there is some common action that we have to perform on those elements. We can define it in common page actions and then common page interactions like handling of alerts, executing is JavaScript that can be done in the base page class itself. And also we can implement common weighting mechanism that has to be applied across different pages in the base page class. So this is how a base page class will look like. So like in this class, we have initialized the page factory in the constructor of the base page class, and then we are defining common actions like navigate to, refresh page, maximize window, accept alert, switch to frame, get current URL, or execute JavaScript in this base page class. So suppose any class implements this base page class, it will automatically use these methods like navigate to, refresh, and then maximize window, accept alert in that class. And simplifies specific classes because then we do not have to initialize factory in each of the classes and in the constructor it's a common code across thing like super driver. It will call the driver from the parent page. So we only need to define the elements now and corresponding public method to uh, for them to be used from the test case classes. This is also the encapsulation concept of OOPS where we define the elements as private and then define public methods to interact with these private elements. So these can be used in a test, like in this example, in a test ng test by defining a new driver, then calling the login page using the driver implementation, and then we can navigate to URL and then perform login action into that control. So in this example, we can see there is no interaction with the elements at the test level, and these are defined at the page classes. So the best practices in terms of page object model that we can follow are following: consistent naming convention, use meaningful names for methods and the variables, and then keep the test classes free from web element locators. So when we are using page object model, we are separating the test classes from web element locators. Advantage of page object model are it improves the code organization, enhances the reusability of code, and improves the maintainability and readability of the code. So that's all in this session on understanding page object model. Hope you likes this tutorial. Hope to see you again in another tutorial that we prepare. In between, do like, subscribe this page so that it motivates us to create more meaningful content like this. Thanks for your time. Thank you.